Oh, hello. Welcome to O.A.R.S vlog number, I'm not sure what, but what day is it, guys?
October 28th.
It's October
Yeah,
28th, 2017. Kyle, what were you just saying?
I've said we're making history here, that these first years now, we're going to look back at this moment in 4 years' time and be like, wow, remember the days when O.A.R.S was just getting started?
What is O.A.R.S? O.A.R.S is Olin Aquatic Robotic Systems. At least that's what the acronym stands for. And we wanted it to be that acronym because it sort of leaves things wide open for what we've been and what we have the potential to become. Right now, our aquatic robotic systems takes the form of autonomous sailing across the Atlantic eventually. That's the plan, and right now what we're doing to work toward that is building autonomous vessels that can cross increasingly difficult and larger portions of water.
Right now what we're doing is we're embarking on this 5-year journey of sorts to try and autonomously sail across the Atlantic. And this is just year one getting going. In the past, O.A.R.S, it used to be O.A.R.S, Olin Robotic Sailing, and they did sailbob for a long time, which was just like a sailing competition. And this sort of like transatlantic thing is something they've wanted to do for quite a while now, but they never sort of like really committed to it, and that was sort of a problem that O.A.R.S had in the past that we're trying to resolve now, and really sort of committing to this and making it happen.
I am a co-lead this year, which was not ever my intention when I joined. I wanted to join O.A.R.S from the time I was here as a candidate, but didn't have a chance to until my junior year, at which point I immediately became software subteam co-lead, which was a little daunting. And then at the end of that year, I was chosen to be one of the co-leads for this year. So I'm figuring things out as I go.
It's one of the smaller project teams, which is really cool. And yeah, because it's not as intimidating as some of the big ones, and it feels closer. It feels more like a group of friends doing a project that we really want to do, instead of some school project that feels kind of like a job that you have to do. And it's fun. It's interesting. It's something I didn't think I would be doing when I was in high school.
So all the work on O.A.R.S happens in 3 different sub-teams. So there's mechanical, electrical, and software. And they each handle one aspect of the boat. So they meet once a week, or more often, depending, and get everything together. But then also the whole team comes together once a week. And the whole team meeting is less about getting stuff done and more about planning on what else we have to get done. So we write up everything that's happened and everything that we need to do. And we look at what's gone well, what needs to change, and then we assign a task to each person. So this week, or these past couple weeks, my task has been waterproofing the boat.
Alright, this is an O.A.R.S vlog. I'm not sure what day it is. Eric, do you know what day it is?
It's November 8th.
Alright, it's November 8th. We're doing stuff to the boat, adding epoxy. Sorry, let me move closer to the speaker.
It's silicone.
It's silicone. Wait, no, the speaker's, here we go. The microphone's over here. Wait, no, is
We're adding silicone to the boat to make sure the hatch is watertight.
Yep.
It might be too loud for this.
Maybe.
Let's do another take later.
Alright, sure. This will be take 1. Alright, say that again, Eric.
I feel like we should do something to that first.
So today we're testing if the boat is watertight, and we put this hatch on with the silicone, and it is pretty obvious. Anna, if you can do your demo, it's pretty obvious that the front of it is not in fact watertight, because it is not even paper tight, and paper is bigger than water.
Paper is bigger than water.
So what's going to happen, the sides of it and the back of it seem good, and so we're going to have to close that up, and then we can put the boat in the water and turn it over and tumble it around and see if water gets in. And it's filled with old Desnat papers so that we can see if it gets wet or not. Okay, wait, we gotta both push at the same time, right? To actually sink it.
Good night,
Going
boat.
under. Alright.
Sheet
With
down.
the pressure.
3,
Okay,
2,
water's getting in the
1.
duct.
Okay.
Do we see any bubbles?
Yeah, I
I
saw
saw
some
bubbles
bubbles.
from the duct
from the
Yeah.
duct
Did you see any bubbles from back here?
No.
Okay, I saw bubbles from the duct tape, but that's expected.
Yeah. All
Dude,
right.
that's good.
Yeah, all these little droplets here are on the inside, which is bad. The water's supposed to stay on the outside of the boat.
I think one of the biggest challenges is that we don't even know where all of our challenges are right now. There's so much that goes into the problem of trying to sail across the Atlantic, and a lot of that you don't even realize until you get out beyond, you know, the pond or the lake or whatever it is.
In previous years, a lot of the time we've tried to make a boat at the same time as program and wire it, and that doesn't really work. So this year we're actually working on an old boat and allowing the electrical team to get everything running, get the software team programming on that boat, and let the software team learn how to sail while the mechanical team builds next year's boat, which then the software team will be able to sail.
We are currently working, since it's wintertime, we can't get out on the water. We're working with little Roomba-like robots to sort of simulate, well, first of all, to get practice using O.A.R.S, because those use O.A.R.S, and then also to simulate sailing in an easier environment that doesn't get blown around and drift. And so once we have code written for those using O.A.R.S that takes wind positions and turns that into a desired angle, and then we can control the robot and to achieve that angle. Once we have all that working and tested, then in the spring we can start to translate that over onto the sailboat and making some tweaks to get the sailboat to behave in the way we want it.
There's actually two boats happening right now. There's the G boat and the H boat. The G boat is this one right here. It's the boat that we've been using for testing and to run our software on, and basically to learn how to sail with a robot. It's an old racing boat that we have retrofitted to do longer journeys. H boat is the next boat, doesn't actually exist yet. That's the one that we're designing right now, so it's just ideas at this point.
We have, for the first time, actually, I think, completed a boat, or handed a boat over from mechanical team to electrical team on time. So that's pretty awesome. And I think electrical and software are getting ready for actually sailing in the spring, which is going to be great. Actually, getting out on the water as soon as we can. And now mechanical team is into all the coming up with ideas, and we'll start our design work in winter when it should be.
So why does that happen?
Huh?
Why does that happen?
It's because of your center of mass and your center of buoyancy. Go!
No, wait!
Do it!
Do it. Okay. So, everybody's just looking at me. I don't like this.
This year, I'm leading the mechanical sub-team of O.A.R.S. So, looking at boat fabrication and boat design and how we're going to make this boat in such a way that we can control it and that it'll be robust enough to sort of withstand the journey that we're going to have to take it on.
You can do it. I believe you. Ah! We said, is this mass and then buoyancy?
Probably the other way around.
Mass, buoyancy? Yeah.
Wait. It's not a very good boat.
What?
You're a very bad boat.
It's not a,
I
yeah.
am. Exactly. I mean, how?
It's actually hard to know how the mold is going to be. You'll just have to fudge the points.
We're working to design a whole new boat for next year. And this year we are using a hull from a previous year and basically using it as a learning experience to try to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and what decisions we need to make for the bigger boat.
Yeah.
Also, like,
I mean, it's just.
No. You would want the center.
I mean,
That's what I
I
thought.
feel upright better than
But
that.
lower.
Yeah.
So this is center
Oh,
mass, yes. On the
no.
bottom.
Like, technically my center max is like here, my center
There,
weights
okay.
is like here.
So
Probably, but like, I just end up like, oh.
we've got a submerged region. I totally just screwed that whole thing up.
So we're making the actual physical boat, which right now is involving a lot of research into how boats boat, hull design, sails, rigging, all the different variables. For example, do we want a monohull or a catamaran? So lots of research into what makes a good boat design.
Since we are such a small team, everyone kind of has a pretty big part in doing stuff. Like, yeah, I was doing the whole waterproof box thing, which was kind of just my job. It took a while because finding parts for that was kind of a nightmare. But that was kind of my specific job to do for the boat. That is something that's definitely going to like affect the overall performance of like the actual boat when we put it in the water.
We're just starting on H-Boat, which is really exciting. So again, we are mostly in the research stage right now with H-Boat, and it'll be cool to see the ideas start to take shape and then move into actual production and manufacturing.
We sailed our boat in the Babson swimming pool during free swim hours. We walked onto Babson's campus with our boat and our sail and our stand, which is like the most obnoxiously Olin way to walk onto Babson. And we just kind of set up in their pool room with like the monitor for programming and like the actual boat. It was kind of ridiculous, but it went really well and all our systems work. We were able to test everything. We put a big fan instead of wind and just like sailed around, and it went really well. For the test, Katie and Christian and I got in the water with it so we could like control the boat from in the water because we don't want it to be completely autonomous yet because it's maiden voyage. And I guess, I don't know who was driving it, but somebody sailed it around. The sails worked, it's remote control so you can adjust the sails and the rudder. Right now it does not automatically calculate anything based on the wind. Software was mostly focused on just getting things to move, which they did.
Alright, we are about to test whether our rudder is working and also whether this phone is as waterproof as it says. Ready?
I've never actually sailed a boat before, so I've learned some theory, but it's hard to mentally work with different types of boats when I've never actually physically interacted with those types of boats.
You can read about the physics, you can be an expert about all the like science behind sailing, but when you're on the water, you're not necessarily thinking that analytically about it. Instead, you're kind of going off of instinct.
Do I think we're on track? Yes, with a question mark. Not a question mark because I don't think we're on track, but a question mark because we are a few months into a 5-year mission.
I am feeling pretty confident, actually. We've gotten a lot more done in the time that we've been working than we usually do, and we seem to be much more focused on actually like working together as a team than O.A.R.S has been in the past, or at least from what I've seen.
I'm still pretty excited. Do I wish we were a little bit further? Yes, but you can always wish that. It's not, you can always be doing better. And I know that the important part for us really is just sort of making this consistent progress along. Like, we've got a very large time frame for this. I probably won't be around by the time this is resolved. But I know that if we can just keep making concrete progress every semester, then we'll eventually get there.
O.A.R.S is cool. I'm really excited to like see what we actually accomplish in the next few years. I'm sad that I'm a senior now.
I love O.A.R.S because all of the people on O.A.R.S are just so awesome, and that's one of the reasons that I continue to come to this project team, because all the project teams do really cool things, but O.A.R.S is just like a little boat family, and it's great.